for a very long time. I found myself in relationships where I was constantly seeking approval. I felt needy. I felt like I always had to bend over backwards just to be liked, just to fit in, just to be accepted. Does this sound like you? Well, if so, hang with me. Grab that cup of coffee, grab that cup of tea. This is a short audio podcast. I am Colleen, your real life coach. And this is the Just Colleen podcast. Again, so grateful you're here. Thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to talk about navigating through being yourself and friendship challenges. So I hope you can relate to my journey from neediness and codependency to being your true self and learning who you are, creating healthy boundaries, and especially when it comes to friendships and friendship challenges. That constant seeking of approval, honestly, it was exhausting. I was always worried about how other people saw me, how other people felt about me. I struggled with saying no, even when I desperately wanted or needed to. My self-worth was tied to making others happy, even if they didn't see it. And I often ignored what I truly was feeling and what I truly needed. I remember so many of those days so vividly, and it felt like my life was spinning and constantly spinning around someone else's orbit, never really quite my own. I was terrified of being alone, and I clung to friendships and relationships that either they didn't feel right or they were completely unhealthy. It was truly so hard for me to admit to myself that I was living out of fear and out of insecurity, that relic of codependency, rather than absorbing in those true connections. For those of you out there listening and you felt this growing up or throughout your lifetime, we're going to jump into the who of who you really are, but not of the past and not of the future. It's at this present moment in time. Because over time, as I'm sure you've seen, something shifted in you through self-reflection maybe. And honestly, most of it probably came from a bunch of uncomfortable moments that you had to experience. And I realized in those moments that I needed to come back home to myself. Not home as a sticks and bricks, but home to who I am. So I started practicing through journaling, learning who I am via self-reflection. I learned how to let my real feelings show. And I learned how to communicate my needs. I began setting boundaries, which, by the way, felt horrible and very difficult at first. It was almost like I was breaking some unwritten rule. And trust me, people got angry with me. Some people still are. But slowly, it became my privacy fence, my way of honoring who I am. And within that privacy fence, I created that beautiful garden that are all the things that matter. I learned that it's okay to say no, to ask for space, and to be completely honest about what I truly need and what I don't need. When you look around, if you have the opportunity and you say, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. Seriously, take a look around because I bet you already have it in one way or another. Now, I'm going to openly admit this was not an overnight transformation. It was messy. It was slow. It took years. There were days that I felt so guilty for prioritizing my own well-being. But I learned how to be honest about what I need, what I truly need. And again, that wasn't overnight transformation. It wasn't. And then there's other days where I felt so empowered by making those choices and so free being able to make those choices. At the same token, bit by bit, I discovered that living with who I really am, it allowed me to build more deeper, more meaningful connections with people, with myself. And it helped me to feel more at peace. One of the hardest parts of my journey was how some friends ended up reacting when I started setting up those boundaries and being more honest with everyone and everything. Well, like I said earlier, not everyone took it very well. In fact, a few people, they actually accused me of being a liar. They accused me of being entitled. Or one person actually said I betrayed them. That was really painful for me. These people were close, and it's difficult when people you care about, they completely misunderstand your intentions or see your growth as a threat to the way things used to be. I remember feeling heartbroken and asking myself, am I doing something wrong? Misread by those people who try to copy you and say that they're doing the same thing, but they will stand there and lie right to your face. They will stand there and they will talk about other people in a horrible manner. This is completely different. If a person looks at you and says, I need my space, I've got too much going on, I don't need to hear anything more than that. I respect that. I respect that you need more space, and I'm here if you need to talk. I realized that their reactions to what I did said more about their expectations of me than about me, myself. Sometimes when we change, it disrupts that status quo, and not everyone is really ready for it. And it doesn't mean that you're growing and your growth is wrong, or that you owe anyone an explanation for finally choosing yourself, for choosing your own peace. Now, if you find yourself in this similar situation presently, where people push back, they call you names or they misunderstand you, they lie about you, first know, number one, you are not alone. I wouldn't be here sharing this if I didn't experience it. My big thing is take a step back, take a deep breath, and remind yourself why you started on this amazing journey to get to know yourself. It's so important to stay grounded in your truth. Journaling, oh my gosh, I cannot say enough, helped me process my emotions. It helped me to learn who I really am, what I want to do, where I want to be. And so did talking with supportive people who understood. Self-care became essential here. Taking quiet naps, walks, reading, or, just simply journaling and sitting with my thoughts and feelings. I know it sounds kind of cliche, but it really, truly works. And above all of this, do not let negative reactions pull you back into past patterns. Maintain your integrity, and that means holding on to your values, even when it's really tough. You're going to fall off the wagon every once in a while. Have the knowing to bring yourself back. You deserve friendships built on respect and honesty, the same thing that you would offer yourself. So if someone calls you a liar for being authentic, being who you are, being the real you, being the honest you, remember that your truth is valid. And you do not have to prove yourself to anyone. Let time in itself show who truly belongs in your life. All right, so this week's inspiration that I'm going to leave you with is growth is sometimes uncomfortable, but choosing yourself is always worth it. Knowing who you are and learning who you are may come at a cost, but that price, well, it's priceless. Take that with you for this week as you move through. Allow yourself to breathe and choose you, to be honest, and to trust that the right connections, they are going to flourish when you show up as your true self. Thanks for sharing that cup of tea or cup of coffee and your heart with me today. Until next time, take good care of yourself. Keep growing. You're exactly where you need to be at this present moment. And as always, have a fantabulous day.